Every single product you own, from the smartphone in your pocket to the coffee mug on your desk, has been on this incredible kind of hidden journey. Today, we're going to pull back the curtain on that journey and explore the absolutely fascinating world of the supply chain. Now, really, have you ever just stopped and thought about how that laptop you're using right now was actually made? It didn't just pop into existence, right? It traveled through this complex web of suppliers and factories and distributors. And today, we're going to trace that exact path, from a raw idea all the way to the box that lands on your doorstep. Okay, so the best way to wrap your head around this whole journey is to split it in two. Just picture the manufacturer, the factory, as the center of this universe. Everything that flows into that factory is what we call the upstream. And then everything that flows out of the factory and towards you, the customer, well, that's the downstream. It's really just one continuous river, but these two halves have totally different jobs. So let's start where it all begins. We're heading upstream, all the way back to the very source, where a product first starts its life. This is the foundation, and if this part isn't solid, the whole thing falls apart. The upstream supply chain is really all about, well, supply. It's every single thing that has to happen before the main manufacturing can even kick off. The mission here is pretty straightforward. Get all the raw materials, all the components, and get them to the factory floor. So what does this actually look like in the real world? Well, it all starts with supplier management. Think about a car maker like Toyota. They aren't just buying steel off the shelf. They're building these deep, long-term relationships to source everything from glass to those super complex microchips. And that leads right into procurement, which is the actual act of buying all that stuff. A pharmaceutical company, for instance, has to procure very specific chemicals from all over the world just to make a single pill. Once you've got your suppliers locked in, you have to get the materials moving. That's transportation. You can imagine a furniture company shipping these massive loads of lumber from a forest to its factory. And of course, they can't use it all at once, which brings us to a really key part: inventory management. A chocolate company has to perfectly store tons and tons of cocoa beans and sugar, making absolutely sure its production lines never, ever stop. So when you boil it all down, the whole point of this entire upstream journey is reliability and cost. You have to get a reliable, cost-effective supply of high-quality stuff. Because if that supply gets disrupted or if it suddenly gets way too expensive, the entire production process can just grind to a halt. Getting this part right is absolutely critical. Now in our modern world, there's this incredibly powerful digital engine driving this whole upstream process. It's called e-procurement. And honestly, it has completely changed how companies buy the things they need. E-procurement is pretty much what it sounds like, using the internet for business-to-business buying. But it's so much more than just a giant online shopping cart. The whole idea is to automate and streamline the entire purchasing cycle, making it faster, cheaper, and letting people focus on big-picture strategy instead of drowning in paperwork. The whole process breaks down into three pretty logical stages. First, you have e-sourcing, which is using digital tools to find and check out potential suppliers anywhere on the planet. Next up is e-purchasing. That's the actual ordering, a lot of times through pre-approved digital catalogs. And finally, it all wraps up with e-payment, which automates the invoices and money transfers to close the loop. But here's where it gets really interesting, because it's a balancing act. The upsides are huge. We're talking major cost savings, much tighter control over your inventory, in a global marketplace right at your fingertips. But the risks are real too. Relying too much on technology can create one single point of failure. And if those digital catalogs aren't kept perfectly up to date, a company might think it's getting a good deal when it's actually paying yesterday's prices. Okay, so the raw materials have been gathered, the factory has worked its magic, and the product is officially made. But our journey is not over yet. Not by a long shot. Now we're moving to the second half to see how this thing actually gets into your hands. We're officially heading downstream. The downstream supply chain. This is the demand side. It covers every single thing that happens after that finished product rolls off the assembly line. The focus here totally shifts. It's no longer about getting materials in, it's all about getting the finished product out to the customer. So what are we talking about here? Well, it kicks off with warehousing and storage. A big electronics company has to store thousands of brand new laptops in warehouses all over the country before they can go anywhere. Then comes distribution and order fulfillment. And this is where you see the modern supply chain in all its glory. Just think of Amazon's gigantic fulfillment centers, where your order gets picked, packed, and shipped to your house, sometimes just hours after you click buy. It's incredible. Next, you've got your classic retail and sales. You know, a clothing brand making sure its new line is in all the big department stores. But then there's this final step that a lot of people just forget about: reverse logistics. This is the whole complex dance of handling returns, exchanges, and repairs. Because in today's world, getting a product back from a customer smoothly is just as important as getting it to them in the first place. So, the ultimate goal of this entire downstream journey, it's all about you. It's about efficient distribution, it's about on-time delivery, and it's about creating a positive customer experience from start to finish. A great downstream process is what builds brand loyalty and keeps you coming back for more. All right, now that we've seen both sides of the river, let's kind of zoom out for a second. How a company decides to build and manage this whole flow, both upstream and downstream, is a massive, massive strategic choice. At its core, it pretty much boils down to two main approaches. On one side, you've got vertical integration. This is the do-it-all-yourself model, where a company tries to own and control as much of the supply chain as it can, making stuff in-house. And on the other side, you have virtual integration, where a company outsources most of its activities to specialized partners. It's the ultimate make versus buy decision. And this is where modern technology, specifically the internet, was a total game changer. It made that buy option, that virtual integration model, not only possible, but a lot of times way more efficient and preferable. And that choice affects you. A company using virtual integration can probably get new products out the door faster and cheaper, but a vertically integrated company might have much tighter control over quality. It's this fundamental trade-off that shapes the products we buy every single day. So, we've traveled this whole journey, from raw materials to big strategic decisions. But why does any of this really matter to you? The answer is, well, it's everywhere you look. Let's just boil it down to the essentials. When the upstream side works perfectly, it means no production delays, and the stuff you want to buy is actually available. When the downstream side is humming along, it means your package shows up on time and in one piece. The big takeaway here is that this whole thing is a delicate, deeply connected flow. One little problem way, way upstream can cause massive headaches all the way downstream to your front door. And that leaves us with one final thought to chew on. With technology like AI and automation moving faster than ever, which part of this journey do you think will change the most in the next few years? Will it be the upstream part, how we find and source materials? Or will it be the downstream part, the final mile delivery right to our homes? It's something to think about.